Hi guys, I've made this list view example which I'll show to you. This list view has got more than two columns and I can click on any one of the rows or cells rather, and I get to see the details through a toast message, right? This is a typical list. This is very similar to what we did in the restaurant example, but the only difference here is that there are more than two columns in this example. So let us see how do we tackle this in the Android Studio. So before we start doing anything else in the Java, first let us discuss what is happening in the layout. And layout is something which the user gets to see, so it's important that we discuss that. I will also take help of some sketches or some kind of let's say paint to make sure that you understand what is it that we are doing right now. All right. So what is happening here is the first thing which I need to handle is I need to make sure that I'm able to have a row in line first, right? I have to create a row first, right? So this is the approach that we are going to take, and of course there can be other alternatives also, but the first thing that we will do is we will create a row. All right, we will start putting stuff which is required for this row, 1A burger and 200. All right, so what happens is I'll go and I'll not be typing everything here because that will take a lot of time, which is not really required. Of course, you will get this code in the resources, so that is not a problem. But we will be discussing this, and we will be typing it in the Java module, but we will not be really typing the entire XML. So what has happened here is there's this linear layout, and you have an orientation of vertical here. I want you guys to focus on this part, and this is basically a linear layout with no orientation mentioned here, and that basically means that it's a horizontal orientation, right? uh, and then you have a first text view, second text view, a third text view, a fourth text view. There is the text mentioned here, which is at string price, and we've basically made use of the values folder here, and this is the strings here. So once you start using this, if you download this code and you want to utilize it in entirety, then you will have to make changes in this value in strings folder here and in strings file so as to utilize this code. So here what I've done is there is this text view, four text views, and all these text views are having the different names. So right now we just created the first row, that is serial number, product, category, and price. If I were to take you to the strings file, you will see that these four are mentioned here: serial number, products, category, and price. All right, so we have created the first row. All right, now let us go and see what else is there in that layout. The first row has been created, and the names have also been given. That is basically the header which was required. And now here we have a list view. uh, List view has the IDs there and other details are there. Now let us go to our this is activity underscore main, and then let me show you what is happening in other layout that I have designed. The other layout is the linear layout, and this basically has the one row in itself. This is the layout which we will be using to show the details of this entire table. So we have done this, we have created this, right? But the numbers or the values of these cells will keep changing as we keep receiving data from either an array or some other data resource that we might be using, right? So in this case we will be using an array to supply data to these cells, but because it keeps changing, we have created a new layout, a different layout for these four columns. All right, so let me show you that layout to you. This is the layout. The most of the things are simple text views there, and you have adding and all, everything is in place. One of you asked me what is fill parent. Fill parent is basically match parent only, one and the same thing. Fill parent was used earlier, now we call it match parent. So if you go to design, you can see that we basically created the four columns here. All right, we will be using this layout to supply values to these for different objects or different cells that we are going to fill in. Here, for the showing the actual names in different cells, what I've done is I've created a Java class known as model, and what I'll be doing is I'll be copy pasting stuff from here, but one by one, and as we copy paste everything, I will be explaining everything. So what we've done is here is there are four variables here. All of them are strings: serial number, product, category, and price. And here is a method which basically provides the value to the instance variable that we are talking about, right? So I think this is self-explanatory. If you have done a little bit of Java, for any Java project you must have created getter and setter methods, and this is exactly the same thing happening here. I've created a Java file. So I'll copy paste this and make a Java file here. And this is what we have done now. We have created the Java file, the model.java, which will be used to create any object of this class, and which can be used further to start showing whatever we want to show on the screen. As we go forward, you will keep understanding what we are exactly trying to do here. After this, let me take you to the main activity file here. And here what I've done is I've created an object product list of ArrayList model. After this, you have a list view which is getting defined here. List view is a class. I made an object, and then you have list view r.id.list view. If I go to my, this is list view, I will find it in activity underscore main, and this is here, right? This is, we have already done this, so I can now say that this is the list view here. Sorry. So this is the same list view that we found there. And here there's this list view adapter that is getting defined here. I'm also giving a reference to this list view adapter, this comma product list. This product list is same as this one. All right. And here in list view object lview dot set adapter. All right. And here finally populate list. Now populate list must be a method which is defined somewhere below. So let's visit that method. But before we visit this method, I will talk about this a little bit. What exactly is happening here is, I completely forgot that, I should not be so fast in this. So what really happening here is that I have made a class here, list view adapter, which we will be discussing in some time. And I made an object of it, and then I'm basically passing on some input parameters to that class to make an object out of it. And once you look at that class, you will be able to understand what exactly is happening here. In a lot of cases, what happens is you can implement an adapter while being in main activity only, but a lot of times you will also want to define a separate adapter, and then you utilize that adapter to make the data show up on the screen, right? So this is what really is happening here. We have created an adapter, a different class has been created, and here I'm just setting this adapter here with the set adapter method. All right. So we will look further into this once we discuss about list view adapter. But for now, what you can understand is that in these two lines, I am basically inserting, or rather connecting, my adapter to my data here. All right. And now we will look at the populate list method. Populate list method is here at the bottom. And here what is happening is I have created 5 objects of model class, and the objects are basically being used. I'm using a constructor here, and through constructor I'm adding the items here. All right. And here you can see that after this what happens is, to the adapter object that I have created here, this one, I'm also putting a method there, notify data set changed. We don't really require this method here. Let me go and show you what exactly this method does. Notifies the attached observers that the underlying data has been changed, and any view reflecting the data set should refresh itself, right? So this is basically required when we have some data changing inside the view, which is not happening in our case, so we don't really require this. But I've mentioned it there because most of the times in such table, or rather in such columns, lists, you might require this method there. So I'll remove it for now. And then what is happening here is I'm setting the adapter here. Sorry, I'm putting the set on item click listener here, which basically tells the adapter that whenever an item is getting clicked, what is to be done. I would like you to remember, or I'm sure you remember, the set on click listener, and this is the same thing here. I'm basically just putting an item word inside this, which is a predefined method for such adapters. And here what is happening is, below I am putting on item click with these input parameters. So whenever an item gets clicked, I'm basically overriding this method. So you can go here in the code and click on override if you have to type this. Finally, I am taking the string, I'm making the four variables pass, give the value as text view find view by id, r.id.serial number, get text to string, right? This is an entire text view which is now converting into get text, and here it is converting into string. The same thing is happening in all the four variables. And this is the toast dot make text, the toast which you saw whenever I was clicking on one of the rows. Now what exactly is happening here? What is happening here is I'm storing the date value of the text field that has been clicked in 4 different strings, 1 2 3 4, and I'm using these 4 different strings to display it in the toast message, right? So which basically means that whenever we click on one of the items of the row, uh, whenever I click on one of the items of the row, let's say I clicked here, at that point in time this item click listener will get activated, and I will be that click will be passed on to this method, and that method will detect which is the view that has been clicked. You can see here one of the input parameters is view. It will detect which is the view that has been clicked, and once it finds out which is the view, it will put r.id.serial number. Basically it will detect what is the text written inside it, and it will convert it into string, which is finally getting stored in these 4 variables, so that these can be utilized to generate a toast. All right. So for time being, you can now understand that this is the set on item click listener, which is responsible for generating that toast whenever a user clicks on that entire list. All right. Now I think you might have confusion regarding this. What is really happening here? Let us go to this list view rows and try to find out, can we find the same IDs here or not. See, the IDs here and here, this is serial number, product, category and price. If I go here, serial number, product and category and price, these 4 are same IDs, right? And these 4 IDs are basically the ones which are getting used here. So what is really happening here is the this list view rows, this layout is telling my on item click listener which exactly is the which is the row that has been clicked, and at the same time it is also giving the what is the the content of that text view that has been clicked, right? We will go forward and you will understand this better. This is the same populate list that we discussed. Now let's move to our list view adapter. This is the list view adapter which I was talking about. This is the class list view adapter which is extending this base adapter class, right? And we have created an object of activity also. This entire app is very this has got a lot of dynamic functionalities inside it, and that's why we have created activity and activity here. And here I am utilizing the list view adapter method. I'm calling this method and getting the all these getter methods I'm putting here, so that whenever a click is made, I can, no, sorry, not whenever the click is made, whenever the list gets generated, I should be able to get the contents of the list through these methods. All right. Now finally I have created a view holder class, and I have defined the 4 text views here. In these text views, I can see that view get item, in position, and convert view and view group parent.